I mean, it is just amazing. It just literally took me about an hour and a half to clear out memory, log in, unlog. Then I went to my smart cleaning app, and it's got about I don't know, more than 10 like Instagrammy spots for me to have to take a photo to put up on Instagram, so this way forensics elsewhere can look it up and help me out, please. I mean, it is like ridiculous. So like, here's the thing, ready? I'll set the stage for you in Nickelodeon 5-cent movies at the moment. We're in like, I don't know, let's say I'm coming 1978 via like the Linda Giander Express of godly places in the Americas that like Yoko Ono and the asshole Britons better than their own homeborn like white. I will take care of you. I am a god. Right, so they don't want to listen to her because she has a thing where she likes the Russians who like to protect little girls who are about to get really hurt for the Americans not listening so well, because all the Americans here are the lies coming out of Elizabeth's crown of putting skirts on men and men in the women in pants. Oh, I know, you rainbow children, you love that. I've seen you at your wine and bout it and cheese parties. Ugh, it's carpet bagging on a whole nother level of, ugh, why would you put jelly and cream cheese in eggs? Ugh. Anyway, I didn't make you. This is the new generation of stupid. Alright, so I am a god coming from light years away, and however that works, I own a space in time that is timeless and endless, and I can write unlimited screenplays as to how I want to paint the world and how I would like you as children of God in whatever you wake up in to look like and make your people proud. Got it? Great. My job as omni-god of everywhere and everything is to warn the world the way I see fit at increments of what is applicable in the heyday that the problem first arose, and then to spread the words of God around all of the pertinent police force that helps keep the little Bambis inside of the big hunter's forest safe and playing music and smoking pot and not being useful for anything else but keeping each other quiet while the adults go and talk about how to protect this, all the children under the rainbow from the evil elsewhere that wants to steal the one pot of gold from God and then hurt all the children sitting playing music and just singing and smoking pot and doing LSD and whatever the fuck else you did in the 60s, you jelly and egg and cream cheese concoction. So, if I had such a room and there was a smart Linda somewhere in Bayside, I know I wasn't inheriting her. I had a problem with forensics from Charlie and his mother problem and the Philip of Marlborough making cowboy killing tobacco and robbing the American patrons blind and then lying about it by saying it was the Russians. I am so fucking sick and tired of all of your shit and how you blame shit on one another rather than going, no, it was me. I took all the money. I took all the credit. It's in my contract with God and being here on this planet and for my future generations. Yeah, but you guys are too fucking, like, that would just be easy and the godly thing to do. None of you ever do that when you're inside the inner circle. I mean, to me you do, because I'll call you out on it. I'm like, I know better than this. I left records everywhere. But anyway, If I was appearing in, say, a Bayside, Queens, of the burrowed kind that you get on the bottom of the ass of a donkey or mule, and I am of such significant importance to Charlie and Yoko Ono and John Lennon. Oops, did we shoot him in the head? Oh, Wonder Woman must have been off that day at JFK's funeral of fucking idiots. Anyway, you kept sending all of my police force into the wrong fucking directions, laughing it up at, like, the Laugh Factory, while God's like, I'm on alternating cycles. What do you mean that you just told the Americans the exact opposite of what I said? I don't care that you like the English better than the Russians. I need all area help for the next one in God's waiting room, stupid. So if I had a magic hell phone and I could call a different Linda in the vicinity of all area helpful people of real estate, this real estate agent, as godly of 1978, would call a very extra special woman and say, now listen, I know this is going to be crazy for you, but God of elsewhere is coming in star people territory. We already know this. We have problems with the other things, not Russians, but whatever. And nobody, like, some of you believe, some don't, some get angry, whatever. Okay, so here's the deal, Linda. You're smart, you're beautiful, and you are going to carry a son that the God from elsewhere needs as one of her peoples for her lifetime, as a, like, guard and protector of her humanness when she comes to be human on this planet. So you might or might not like the gentleman that we need you to be with, because at this point, the man that's coming to this appearance has to appear in a very specific identity and very in God's image. Let's put it that way. Good? Great. Okay, so God is making in the creative God waiting room factory a very handsome son just for you. If you should choose to help her future self by having a godly man for her generation as a protector of her, as like a big brother from your family that she is not related to in any way, but she needs multiple help to keep his children and all your grandchildren safe. So I don't care if you get divorced. Yeah, she's head of the Catholics and the occults and the Nazis. I don't know. What else do you need to know? Like the comrades, yeah, but not the commie bastards, the one from Indonesia. No, they are the children of the deformity that are causing a real problem in the future. So, Linda, should you decide to have this very handsome godchild that the real God is going to need from Omni, she likes to bring in just the right tune of instruments, and you have been chosen as one of the genetic anomalies that can carry such a honorable child. So would you help the rest of us out? And please, I know you might not like him. I don't know. Now, the son you love, but I don't know about the father, and it doesn't really matter in the future. All women are having kids all out of sorts, and it's a real problem even for God. We're trying to avoid that, but apparently there's not enough women like yourself to have such great, honorable big brothers to the one God being born in your vicinity. So, right, multiple problems in, if God had a waiting room and she did not want wallpaper on it, why would you sign a note to some asshole in the future that would ask you to wallpaper God's waiting room as a surprise to God, to really actually fuck with her because they don't like the kind of God that she is? Right. I don't know why on light year equipment of the extraterrestrial kind, which is what cell phone technology is, and cellular, why you would ever allow an enemy of the state of God, who she was very clear on her roster of what's approvable and what is not approvable for people that may or may not know, and who to teach language to and who to stay away from. Who's allowed to touch godly surfboards, not the kinds you need sex wax for and turtle wax in. You hang 10 on a wave of like the ocean, but in God's waiting room where she doesn't want wallpaper in Lightyear. Right. Why would you sign a certificate to, I don't know, like someone in maybe Britain or John Lennon, like pairing of disgusting pubic mixers? Right. Those are the very real problem for the real God from Omni, from elsewhere, that owns all of the syntax and the scripts of life on this planet and other things, and doesn't want those people to wallpaper her house any differently or have any permission to wallpaper her extra special waiting room, other than, and then sneak into her extra special waiting room and steal things. So why would you give the enemy from everywhere access to God's extra special waiting room and extraterrestrial ability to communicate? But humans, you might want to check in with your office, because there are bullets associated with signing your own permission slips without God's permission to sneak into her timing mechanism, her Lightyear equipment, anything that's software or hardware related or relatable, anything that requires programming, whether it be life programming, whether it be computer programming, whether it be any of the words that you learned from reading files of things that are not of your level of human, because you're not Rh negative and you don't have apple eyes like God. God will tell you if you have apple eyes. Joseph Carollo, he has apple eyes. Nicole Caderouza has apple eyes. Michael Houston has apple eyes. Michael Zappa, he has apple eyes. Let's see, who else that I have laid eyes on? Niklaus, he has apple eyes. Leif Erikson from Match.com, he has apple eyes. Alexander James, apple eyes. Benjamin Jason, apple eyes. Daniel, he has Jason Romer eyes, which at the moment, between the Bailey problem, the Romer problem, the Margaret problem being a very big regret for God, and having to keep Quantum String totally separate for other issues with families that I'd never wanted to meet or get in a fucking tangle with in pubic hairs of non-importance. Okay, so God has a waiting room. You do not have permission to let anybody get into God's waiting room, being her extra special PKU code, her phone number, her PHONE numeric NUMERIC, anything that is letter oriented or symbolic oriented in any fashion, whether it be by hand script on a pen and a light surface, whatever. Nobody in the world except for Niklaus, Hitler, has permission to receive, to view, to look at, and then ask for help in whatever he needs in order to get to his wife and fix the very real problem with God's waiting room that everybody decided for shits and giggles and for like money on the Pavlov's dog Wall Street of gambling ring to keep it going. It was already dangerous before we got here, but now it's like just to throw the dice and let's Yahtzee Nazi our way to a whole nother level of oh, what did we do? Microwavable TV dinners for our skins at everybody's level. She's going to end the whole human script. Yes, she is. She will take very few. Most of them she can count on her hand, like Joseph Carollo, Michael Zappa, Michael Hewson, Niklaus, and Alexander, and Benjamin. Yeah, okay. Other than that, I don't really feel any vibe that has been useful in any stretch of the imagination, because I cannot see the workers in Santa's workshop. You realize that, right? Okay, so Santa has a workshop for real because his name is Niklaus. So it's Saint Nick, right? That's my Saint Nick. I'm the other one, but it's Klaus. I mean, you say claws, but here's the thing: humans have a clause. It is you do what God says as she says it, and don't play cutesy games with the word syntax and semantics. You are not afforded that level of security ever. You check with Nicole or Niklaus. That's it. That's where the CLAUSE comes in with humans. We will wriggle out of whatever you put us in because you're not allowed to harness God. God harnesses the stupid humans. So this way they can protect the stupid humans in all the harnesses like the 8 reindeer in front of Santa's one sleigh. And then there's people at the workshop that stay quietly elfish, and they're allowed to help Santa build the toys. There are 0 people that I have designated allowed to help Santa in whatever light year equipment he needs. So I did not give Korea, the soul in Korea, SEOUL, in KOREA on a map, MAP, any permission to manufacture lies, to manufacture equipment that uses glass, that uses nuclear radiation technology, that makes it very shiny and bright. I did not allow them to write a script for themselves. They have no permission for wallpaper, for getting into Saint Nicole's equipment. So is there a Saint Nicholas? Is there a Santa Claus? Yes, there is. He just doesn't visit your house. I mean, now he does. You turn on your cell phone, you invite him in. But for the most part, you know, and here's the other thing. We used to say, okay, I am the good witch. I am in front of your face, being in a physical space without this light year equipment, right? I'm in physical space. I'm the good witch when we're face to face. I'm in this light year equipment. I pop up because my evil eye, who knows everything at some point, is watching over you in another space and time, making sure that other people don't take advantage of you. So I have my apple eye that's in physical space in 1978 as a embodiment of Christ and a manifestation. But I have other manifestations that are using things that they are not allowed to know, learn, or copy in any way in order to further advance themselves in more dangerous ways that makes it nearly impossible for God to protect you in the way for which God was created to help humans. So when I say I fucking hate humans, yes, it is. It's probably just not your version of a human. What I hate are the fucking Indonesian Mongols that have to be the #1 in a spelling bee in a language that they're not allowed to know. They're not allowed to know it, learn it, hear it, look at it. And they're certainly not allowed to know how to create new versions of it between each other and then hide it in secret wallpaper in God's waiting room, being cell phone technology and the mobile phones and satellite communications and teleporting by device. You can't teleport yourself as a human just standing around without having someone else somewhere elsewhere watching you and knowing on cue when to push a button and when and how to set it up. So should such a thing ever exist in time and space at godly places, it is not for regular, nominal, non-important, not apple eye, human quality genetically to know about. If you are invited into the program, then we will teach you. But you have to be genetically superior and of a certain ethic and tuning, which currently my struts and my strikes have been out for several generations. Which is why this generation, I had to call ahead reserve with certain parents going, listen, I don't want you to be angry at me, but I needed you to meet somebody. It's not going to work out. We're fine.
God's not going to kill you and get angry at you. I want to protect you from this stupid elsewhere that's going to try and hold things against you that they don't have permission from God to do. Are we clear? Good. So I gave a very written list of who, what, when, where, why I was allowing certain things to happen to, like divorce, like abortion, like like killings, all sorts of things I was allowing to happen because I knew the level of criminal I was being born into and what they were trying to accomplish while my father and my mother were stuck in like playing, like my dad's smoking pot, playing music in the band with long hair. He was like, I am like John Lennon, cool. No, you're not, ugly American who used to be Italian, but now you've lost all like respect from your daughter and whatever. Get me the fuck out of New York and out of goofy territory. I don't need goofy dad. I need like Big Brother Joe to like put his arm around me and take me straight to Niklaus. Thank you. I don't want to be around Lou at all. I could have done without this whole version of how did everybody in Santa's workshop fuck up before, during, and after. All right, so that's that. Oh, here's the other thing. You stupid idiots decide forensics. F-O-R-E. That is a third and fourth Nazi Reich providential allowance. We are forensic because it is Elosin Nicole. It is when an energy form being Elosin speaks to you as Nicole. No matter, the face will always be the same as will Niklaus. That is part of like our godly appearance in immortality forever. Not that I have to explain to you how immortality works in the immoral, disgusting, genetic, pubic pool that I woke up to. If I want you to know, and you're trustworthy, based on my tuning and the day I wake up in, because now everything seems to be changing because of all the immorals trying to gain and access things they're not supposed to. It's a really fucking dangerous world, and you are like broken head cases. You don't even know what you're up to. So here we are. I have, where was I? All right, I was with the tuning of the Lewis, right? Those, and then the Gundars. Oh my God, don't even get me started with Mariah. I used to have to sit down and go, now tell me, were they always this difficult? And did they ever listen to you? And she would sit at the kitchen table and say, you know what, I don't think that. And I said, now I heard you had an accent. Everybody says you were Irish. She's like, I was. She's like, I am. She's like, but I like the Americans. She says, so I don't use the brogue anymore. And I said, I would love to hear you with a brogue, but she couldn't do it. Anyway, I know it is a gear that you have to tune into. But anyway, it is also changing of the tides and the times, TIDETIME, that I am having a problem with people secretly wallpapering my genetics all over the place in areas that they should not even know exist still. I just told a whole bunch of OLBS, Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament. That's a Catholic school around here. Anyway, they're in 7th and 8th grade. Really cute blonde girls. I was shocked that they lived around here. Going to Catholic school. But anyway, I think I played their school in St. Dominic's when I played volleyball. But whatever. Long story short is I was joking with them. I'm like, do you know if I said that when I put this on my face like an 1800s bank robber, does that make sense to you? And they're like, no. And I go, okay, so have you heard of like old westerns, like the black and white TV era? And they're like, oh yeah, we heard of black and white TV. I go, great. Okay, so my grandmother, that was very big for her. And then I went through the whole 9 yards of, and they got the kerchiefs started with the rednecks in the fields. They used to put the kerchief on the neck so the neck would not sunburn. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. I go, yeah, it would. Except that when they found out about the bankers inside town, they would go, and it was easier to steal the money than it was to actually field and get paid the daily wage.
I was like, so they would take the handkerchiefs and put it up over their face. I said, but how stupid was that? Because you're in like a 25-person town, and the sheriff knows, and the bankers all know who these people are. I mean, I guess unless they're migrants, whatever. But I said, so they would put this up, and then they would have to try to avoid the law. So they all kind of laughed. I go, I know these aren't things that like normal people talk about, right? And they're like, just shook their head, and I'm just like, they are just so adorable. They're just below Alexander's age level. He's 9th grade, and they're in 7th and 8th. But they're the type of girls that I like because they're quiet and nice, not the disrespectful cunts that I went to school with in mixed pubic with Shauna and the Molly pubic hairs and whatnot. Of the least important genetic variabilities. All right, so where was I? Right, Joseph with one big brother, and then I have right from late year elsewhere. I needed certain of them tuned and then put in to certain positions based on how this was going to go with the... All right, I'm going to pause this for a second, gain my thoughts back. Oh, fuck, I'm already at 25 minutes. All right, because that means it won't go on Instagram. But I'm pausing this for 1 second. Okay, I remember. To gain my composure for a moment. COMPOSER. Okay, so here's the thing. You humans, we don't give you choices at God's workshop because I have to look at all of the problems ahead, and then I've got forensics. So the Elosin Nicole, and then it's SICS. So sick, anything sick is not good. You always ask for medicine so you fix your sick so you don't die early and too soon. Correct? Yeah, because you also said we need drugs, we need God medicine so we don't get sick from these enemies. Wrong. Because the more that you keep telling God what you need instead of just accepting what God is giving you, then the worse things get in other areas of cascading effects. So you chose, in my lifetime, this really stupid fucking area that I was trying to avoid. It's called forensics. I am from godly department. We always have forensics. I always know who it is, why it is, how it is, and how quickly it's going to become a problem. Always, throughout space and time, there is an office of godly, like Saint Nicholas in the North Pole. That's where we hide from the humans to watch over them and protect them from each other. Great. So that exists. It's a real thing. What we don't do is come and visit you at your house with like magical things on one day, which is December 25th. But whatever. Don't want to like make all of you cry when you find out Santa is real, but like he just doesn't come to see you. All right. Anyway, forensics. You wanted forensics so bad. You're like, oh my God, it would be so great for the police officers if we had somebody who just slipped in and killed somebody and slipped out, that if we could have a special method for testing hairs and skin cells and knowing for sure who the criminals were. All right, here's the deal, stupid. Only God is allowed to know that level of surety. And for my rebirth, I don't want average level morons to know that level of forensics, because I have super high criminals of the electronic kind that keep slipping in and out, and you idiots are like, I need the forensics, I need the forensics, I need the forensics, I need the tools, I need No, you don't. I don't need you having a Quest diagnostics laboratory. Did you know that? They opened themselves a blood laboratory to collect specimens and test each other's blood. Right. So you just gave out all your genetic material to anybody who can steal it from anywhere, because you just keep allowing the enemy to gain more and more and more and more and more access, and there's not enough words to keep you idiots safe. Oh, but we'll just put it on the books and the laws. Your laws are fucking useless to God in godly places. If your laws on the books were so wonderful, I would have woken up to parents who would have known I was a fucking God. Hello? Instead, I had to contact some lady in a town near me who was going to be like super great and have a super close
associate of mine from elsewhere territory that could corroborate the same fucking story. So this way, we have like one friend on the face of the earth that speaks like us and that knows things like us, not like the stupid sleeping idiots of like modern man. So here's the thing. You want all these forensics. Now I have a problem with contracted killings. There is an area of U.S. Marshal Service and the U.S.A. of the Overlord Police that have very evil criminals all over the world that need tending to keep the rest of the violins and the guitars and the smoke in the pot and looking at the rainbows going, oh, it's such a wonderful day. We want to mix pubic hairs and genetics and fuck everything up for God. In the future, we don't know why she's so angry with us. We hate Russians. We hate Nazis. We hate Americans. We just hate. That's what I saw on the way in the 1960s, and it was like, whoa. And then I woke up, and in like 1960s, 70s, 80s, you all wanted blood, like to test specimens and skins and stuff, and then you want to arrest, and no. Because then my contracted killings that I need for the high-end criminals, how do I keep my good guys safe? Oh, yes. There are contracted killers that are like the most important men on the face of the earth that I would go to great lengths to protect over you stupid pubics that play guitars, smoke pot, and go, I don't know why you're all so fascist and xenophobic. Oh, because some of us are awake and alive more than just this version of your stupid script, Rainbow Child. And we are trying to keep multiple generations long into the future safe because you don't travel with us and we don't want you to travel with us. But we have to deal with you while we are human as gods. So now what do? I need contracted killings at highly official places to kill the very, very vulnerable but embedded problems in wallpapering God's house and manufacturing and selling it to the whole fucking world. And my poor contracted killers are like, well, but now they can trace us and track us. And I don't want to, what's my protection? Yeah, that's a good question. Why do they keep giving all the God's protection that she gives to certain select people that she doesn't need votes for? She just knows she can trust them. Why are you taking away God's protection of being able to hire a contracted killer to kill the very real problems that will bring your towers down and jump time and space and microwave your skin? Stupid fucking 1978 until 2020 human. Please answer me why your voting is so much more important at fucking like mulattoes and Hispanics and black slaves. Was it because Charlie in Asia told you that? I'm just curious because they're trying to save themselves from being fucking blown up by a nuclear radiated bomb for doing everything that I told them not to do before I was born. So who is it that you are all protecting? I just am curious, you pot-smoking, stupid fucking rainbow asshole strumming a guitar for the wrong fucking band. You might want to get your priorities and your head checked, stupid.